The unknown regions had always been a place of mystery, a shadowed void where only the bold dared to enter. At its heart lay the Chiss ascendancy, disciplined, isolated, and untouched by the galaxy's endless wars. But among them, an anomaly had risen. A boy born to one of the most powerful Chiss families, Anakin Skywalker. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are covering what if Anakin was raised by the Chiss. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and enjoy. In this story, Anakin was born on Chiss, where he was raised and joined the military academy when he turned 11 years old, like all the other daring and adventurous kids. When he was 16, he moved into politics, and it was those two skills that forged him into the wise and powerful leader for the Chiss ascendancy. Born in the stars and raised in the cold corridors of Chile, Anakin had become something more than either the Republic or the Chiss could have imagined. A warrior, a leader, the supreme commander of the Chiss expansionary defense fleet. His mind was a weapon, as sharp as any blade, his instincts honed by battle, his power in the Force an enigma even to the Chiss. Under his command, the ascendancy thrived, securing its hold over the unknown regions with unmatched precision. The Chiss had always been calculated people, measured in every move, but with Anakin at the helm at only 22 years of age, their military strategy became something else entirely. Unpredictable, aggressive when needed, and surgical in execution. But war was coming, and war did not care for isolation. The Clone Wars burned across the galaxy. The Republic, desperate for allies, sent scouts to the edge of unknown space, searching for the rumored Chiss. The Separatists did the same, each side hoping to claim the ascendancy as a decisive force in the conflict. It was the Republic that found them first. Jedi and clone scouts, led by Obi-Wan Kenobi and Mace Windu, traced the ancient hyperspace routes until they reached the icy world of Chile. Contact was cautious, the Chiss wary of outside influence. Even in their first meetings, the Jedi sensed something beneath the surface, an unseen force guiding the Chiss with a precision beyond mere strategy. Anakin remained in the shadows at first, observing the visitors, weighing their intentions. He knew of the Jedi, of their ways, of their weakness. Their code spoke of balance and peace, but Anakin had seen what peace required: strength and sacrifice. Then the Separatists arrived. Count Dooku sent an armada to make his point. The Separatist fleet descended upon Chiss space, promising alliance but prepared for conquest. The Chiss did not take kindly to threats, and nor did Anakin. He had spent his life fighting the hidden threats of the unknown regions. He knew war better than most, and he would not let his people become pawns in someone else's game. When the first Separatist ships crossed into the Chiss territory uninvited, the response was swift. The expansionary defense fleet moved like a blade in the dark, cutting through the droid warships with ruthless efficiency. The Chiss fought not with overwhelming numbers, but with strategy honed over generations of survival. Every maneuver was calculated, every strike delivered with purpose. To the Republic and Separatists, war was chaos. To the Chiss, it was an equation to be solved, and at the center of it, directing the battle, was Anakin Skywalker. The battle was unlike any the galaxy had seen before, a clash of might and wills, fought not just in the vacuum of space, but across the frozen expanse of Chile itself. The Republic and Separatists knew that whoever won this war would decide the fate of the unknown regions. If the Republic lost, the Chiss would join the Separatists, and with them, the galaxy would lose its foothold in the unexplored expanse. The Chiss would become the key to the galaxy's future, and there would no longer be a neutral force in the shadows. The Republic's hopes hinged on the outcome of this single engagement. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mace Windu, and Kenobi's apprentice, Ahsoka Tano, had arrived at Chile with their fleet. The cold silence of the icy world was broken by the hum of battle as droid enemies descended upon the planet's surface. Thousands of droid fighters streaming through the atmosphere like a swarm of locusts. Above, the Republic fleet, a force led by Jedi generals, met them head-on, a battle of blaster fire and turbo lasers. Anakin had already made his intentions clear. His people would not be swayed by diplomatic pleasantries. They would not join the Republic simply because they had come first, nor would they align with the Separatists simply because they had threatened. Anakin's battle strategy was not one of caution or compromise. He was as ruthless in his defense of his people as he had been in his pursuit of strength.
Hey guys, really quick, for the entire month of June at Fantasy Sabers, we're giving away the Negotiator Deluxe Edition with every Saber order. This is a 1 month only sale, so don't miss out.
The battle began with the Republic fleet moving swiftly into position, capital ships deploying fighters in tight formation to block the Separatist advance. Obi-Wan, leading a squadron of Jedi starfighters, cut through the enemy lines with an elegant precision, the lightsaber flashing blue as droids fell in rapid succession. Hold formation. Obi-Wan's voice crackled through the comms as he directed his fighters into a controlled yet aggressive attack. We need to keep them at range. No one gets through to the planet. Below, Windu, Ahsoka and their battalions of clones clashed with droid ground forces. The battle on the surface was a brutal storm of blaster fire, lasers and explosions. The clones advanced through snow and ice under Mace's watchful eye, every step calculated, every move executed with ruthless efficiency. Ahsoka fought at his side, her dual lightsabers a blur as she tore through the droid ranks. The Separatist forces, however, were not without their own power. Count Dooku stood at the head of his fleet, his face a mask of cold calculation. Behind him, the dark power of Darth Sidious loomed like a shadow, orchestrating the war from the deepest recesses of the galaxy. The Separatists had come for the Chiss, and they were not willing to let the Republic claim victory. This is why Palpatine had come personally. There were only a few times in the Clone Wars where we saw the Sith Lord personally go to some battles, and the battle for control over the unknown regions would be one of these fights. As Dooku's fleet engaged the Republic's, waves of droid fighters streaked across the sky. The Separatist forces had superior numbers, but the Chiss knew how to fight with precision. Every move had a purpose, every attack calculated. Anakin watched the unfolding battle from the bridge of the flagship Chiss Star, issued his orders with the calm of a predator waiting for his prey to move. His strategy was surgical, his fleet cutting through the Separatists with devastating speed and efficiency. But it was the ground battle that would prove to be the true test. On the surface of Chila, Mace Windu led the charge. His lightsaber crackled as he deflected incoming blaster bolts, cutting down droid after droid with each swipe. Ahsoka's agility kept with the Separatists off balance, her two lightsabers moving like an extension of her own body, cutting with a deadly path through the battlefield. The clones behind them were a wall of fire, their blasters synchronizing perfectly with their Jedi commanders. Ahsoka and Windu began getting gunned down by droids, as their clone forces were getting pinned from every side. Windu called to hold the line, glancing over his shoulder with his dark eyes narrowing. The fate of the galaxy depended on this, but the battle was far from over, and the Separatists had more droids to their disposal. As the Jedi Master turned to face the approaching tanks, with a single swift motion, he called upon the Force, pulling the ground beneath him to a solid wave. The shockwave hit the tanks with force, rocking their massive frames. Mace leapt high into the air, his lightsaber crackling with purple energy. He sliced through the first tank's cannon, rendering it useless before moving on to the next, his power amplified by his connection to the Force. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan was engaged in a separate struggle in the skies. His starfighter was surrounded by droid fighters, and his calm, steady hand was their only hope for survival. In the background, the Chiss watched with silent intensity. At the heart of the conflict, Anakin remained a shadow, not yet revealing himself to either side. The Separatist fleet made a decisive push forward, overwhelming the Republic's outer lines. The atmosphere grew thick with the heat of blaster fire. The battle was one of the most ferocious the Clone Wars had ever seen, and it remained like that until Anakin Skywalker finally made his move. He struck swiftly, sending his fleet into a sudden and overwhelming assault. With ruthless precision, he tore through the Separatist lines, his ships and fighters cutting across the skyline like a knife through butter. His tactical genius had always been a force to be reckoned with, and now it was clear. He was not just a general, he was a master of warfare. As Anakin's forces descended upon the Separatist fleet, Obi-Wan and Mace saw their opportunity. They pushed forward, driving Separatists back, giving the Republic just enough time to regroup and retaliate. General Skywalker's on the move, Obi-Wan shouted, a rare spark of hope in his voice as he fought through the chaos. The battle was finally reaching its climax. The Separatist command ship, a massive warship looming over the battlefield, finally began to fall. Now fully committed to the fight, Anakin's fleet had turned the tide. The droid forces began to scatter, their lines crumbling under the might of the Chiss-led Republic attack. With the Separatists retreating, Anakin stood at the head of his fleet, his face cold and focused as he surveyed the battlefield. It was done. The Chiss had made their decision. Their unknown regions would remain under the watchful eye of the Republic. The galaxy had not just witnessed a battle, they had witnessed the rise of something new. The might of Anakin Skywalker. As Dooku's command ship plummeted to the icy surface of Chilla, the Republic forces dared to believe victory was within reach. His death was a victory for the Jedi, a turning point for the galaxy, but in the midst of the Republic's triumph, a new storm was brewing in the horizon. From the dark edge of space, beyond the reach of even the most advanced Republic senses, came an enemy far more ancient, far more terrifying than either the Separatists or the Republic could have anticipated. The Grisk. They emerged like shadows from the depths of the unknown regions, their ships sleek, silent, and deadly, a new breed of enemy that had long remained hidden. With surgical precision, their fleet tore through the battlefield, bypassing Republic lines and slipping past the Chiss defenses with a brutal efficiency that sent ripples of terror through both armies. Anakin stared into the vastness of space, his mind racing. The Grisk ships appeared from nowhere, their dark silhouettes cutting through the chaos. The battle used to be three-sided, between the Republic, Separatists, and the Chiss, but it had now become something far worse. Now four forces clashed, each fighting not only for victory, but for survival. Ahsoka reached out to her master to warn him of the incoming forces. Obi-Wan's face hardened as he looked out over the battlefield. Windu's grip tightened on his hilt as the Grisk ships advanced. They were not just here to invade, they were here to conquer. As the Grisk ships engaged, the Republic and Separatist forces found themselves locked in a fragile alliance, both sides now fighting for their very lives. It was no longer about control of the unknown regions, it was about preventing the Grisk from consuming them all. With the Grisk's sudden appearance, the Separatists, already reeling from Dooku's death, found themselves scattered, their lines breaking as the Grisk fleet closed in on all sides. Sidious had always known this day might come, but even he was unprepared for the scale of the Grisk's wrath. His eyes glinted with malice as he surveyed the new threat, his mind racing to adapt. His control over the Separatists was slipping, and the Grisk were a force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. As he plotted his next move, Anakin acted. The Chiss had already committed their forces to the Republic, their ships moving in perfect formation as they struck back at the Grisk with deadly precision. The war for the unknown regions had turned into an alliance of necessity, and together they fought against the Grisk with all of their might. Seeing his chances slipping away, Sidious made a desperate move. He summoned all of his dark power, preparing to strike down the Republic with the final blow. But as he reached out, his four senses were torn from him. The Chiss fleet, led by Anakin, cut through the darkness, their ships becoming a wall of fire against Sidious's command ship. With a precise deadly strike, the Chiss fleet's firepower overwhelmed Sidious's dreadnought, its ships crumbling under the sustained assault. As the ship began to break apart, Sidious, standing at the helm, tried to channel his dark power to escape, but it was too late. The core of the dreadnought exploded, engulfing the Sith Lord in a burst of fire and energy. Sidious perished in the flames, his life taken out in an instant as his ship disintegrated around him. With Sidious's death, the Chiss and Republic pushed together against the Grisk forces, causing them to falter, their assault losing its momentum. In the aftermath of the four-sided war, the Republic, bolstered by the Chiss, stood victorious, but the cost was immense. The Grisk had come for the galaxy, and though they were defeated for now, their presence would forever loom over the unknown regions. The Republic had won, but the war for the future was far from over. In the wake of the battle's end, the galaxy began to change. The Republic, now solidified in its alliance with the Chiss, turned its eyes to the future. What had once been a fragile peace between two cultures now became a thriving union, an exchange of knowledge, resources, and power. The Chiss, with their precision and tact, brought new technologies and strategies to the Republic, while the Republic shared its vast network and trade routes, connecting the unknown regions to the heart of galactic commerce. Anakin stood at the forefront of this new era. He led the Chiss with the same relentless dedication he had shown in battle. Though his role was less about warfare now, the scars of his past, of loss of war, shaped him into something more than just a general. He was a beacon of hope, a symbol of the galaxy's resilience, and his presence amongst the Chiss gave him the strength to adapt and grow. But in the quiet moments, Anakin found something he had longed for, a family. Amidst the demand of leadership, he married, choosing a partner in the Chiss called Kaya, who understood his heart, who saw the man beneath the warrior. Together, they had children and a legacy carried forward in their faces, their actions. The family became a symbol of what was possible after the chaos of war. As time passed, the Chiss found their place within the Galactic Republic. Their seat in the Senate was not just a formality, but a sign of respect for the union they had formed. Thrawn, the brilliant tactician who had once served as Anakin's right hand, now stood as the Chiss senator. His presence in the Senate was a reminder that the galaxy had changed, that the balance of power was shifting towards something more unified. Though he stepped back from the forefront of politics, Anakin continued to lead the Chiss with the same unwavering resolve. His children grew, the echoes of his legacy were alive in them, their boundless potentials. In the end, it wasn't just the battles they fought, but the peace they built that defined their legacy. Though forever scarred by war, the galaxy had a chance at something new, a future shaped by the strength of the Chiss and the Republic, and the legacy of one man who had fought not just for survival, but for a future where peace could endure. Thank you all for watching today's video. Please check out our saber shop, Fantasy Sabers, where you can get your very own NeoPixel saber for an affordable price, and fulfill your childhood dreams of becoming a Jedi or Sith. Also check out our membership platform to be able to watch our videos early, and may the Force be with you.